Oh yeah, there it is.
Boom.
Oh yeah,
We live.
we're live, man. What's going on,
Yo,
brother?
what's up, David? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I feel so low down here today. It's so
Yeah, you do
weird.
seem you look low. Looks like you got a little friend with you too.
I do. This is Roxy.
What's up, Roxanne Shante?
She's hanging out with me today. I don't really know how long she's going to hang out here with me in my lab, but we'll see.
It's kind of cool.
So
Can we get a tighter? Let's see if we can get it. Oh, there she is.
Oh, there she is. Yeah, let's see if we can get her to look at the camera. Look over that way.
Yo,
Over
what's
that
up,
way,
girl?
bub. She's like, yeah, I'm having nothing to do.
She's like,
I'm having nothing to do with it. All right, so here we are, man.
Another week.
Back again, another week, ready to rock and roll, ready to have some fun.
It was a great week, bro. How was your week?
My week was crazy, actually. Since our last episode, man, I did like a ton of like virtual events. I think I'm learning how to really be easy for me to say, right?
Right.
I've been talking so much that now I can't even speak anymore. I've become very versed in doing virtual events. So there we go. Easy for me to say, I guess, tonight. I don't know.
Awesome. I love the hair too, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Just
powerful.
A little addition to the energy and the excitement in the room.
I'm digging it. I'm jealous.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
What about your week, man? Tell us about your week. I'm going to try to pull our Facebook up here real quick and tell us about your week, man.
Well, we got another camera angle.
Oh my gosh, look at you.
You see everything. It was a good week. It was a lot of fun. Did some more events. Had a wedding.
Okay.
At the Casa Monica. It was a great time. Shout out to Brittany, a previous guest on the show.
Yeah,
had the opportunity to work with her, and it was absolutely phenomenal. She's amazing. And it was a great week.
Nice.
We also did a live stream.
I guess I should mute myself here. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We did a live stream today.
That was a lot of fun. Actually.
We did really
MPI. It was a good
went
time
well.
with MPI.
Yeah, it was really fun. But man, it was a great week, and just glad to be here. Glad to be finally doing this. It's become fun. So
yeah,
awesome.
I mean, this is like something I look forward to all the time.
For real.
And look at me. I'm like literally trying to look at the camera. Oh, look at there. There we go. I don't know. I really want it that way. That's good. Let's go with that.
Monitoring.
All right. We're making all kinds of additions and changes here on the fly as we go. So
and we've got a little difference here.
Oh yeah.
It's still Dr. Pepper, but
still Dr. Pepper, still Boston.
The lifeblood. Cheers, bro.
There we go. Cheers.
Get to it. Super size
we get crazy over here on Tuesday nights with our Dr. Pepper. Let me tell you,
we crunk on Dr. Pepper.
We get nuts. All right, enough of our shenanigans, man. Let's just dive right into this night.
Sure.
How do you feel about workflows in your business, man? Are you pretty good on workflows,
bro? I'll tell you, you've helped me the most with my workflows, and without your help, I would not have a workflow. So I think they're very important, but I think they're kind of undervalued, and I think they're very difficult, and I think people probably could use some insight on some workflows.
Yeah, and thank you for that, by the way. Yeah. But even myself, I think I could stand to continue to keep elevating my workflow game, and the processes by which we do our business and things like that. Because obviously, as you grow and as you maybe add more people to your business, or you start doing more events and things like that, the more processes and the more kind of the even out workflow that you have, it just helps things go a lot smoother. And I'm probably terrible at explaining that. Thank goodness we have a great guest that's going to do a much better job at explaining that than I do. I know that's crazy. All right. So I promised, I think last week, I promised it last week, but at some previous show, I promised that I was going to get much better at telling bios of people.
Yeah.
Right. So I finally have a written bio. And
look at you.
And so I'm going to read this out before we bring our guest on, and then we're going to bring her on to join us, because I'm here to tell you, and not that I haven't enjoyed our other guests.
Yeah.
But I kind of put a circle around today's show because this was one that really had me excited.
I'm excited.
Her and I goof off with each other on Instagram a lot.
Oh,
so
awesome.
It's kind of fun to actually now have her on the show. So anyways,
let's get into
here we go. I'm just going to read the bio. Why am I getting all emotional? It's kind of weird.
You're getting emotional, bro.
Okay, here we go. All right. Spreading her metropolitan style throughout the Low Country, Terrica has been creating exquisite weddings and events in the Golden Isles area for the past 15 years.
Wow.
Specializing in modern Southern weddings, she believes in creating custom experiences inspired by her clients' love stories while infusing technology and efficiency. A contributing board member to the North American Academy of Weddings and Event Planning, Terrica's weddings and expertise have been featured on the Knot, Reader's Digest, Martha Stewart Wedding, HLN TV, Style Me Pretty, People TV, and a host of others. I don't even feel like we're worthy tonight. Really.
I know.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
In addition to leading a rock star team of planning and design firm, she also owns the White Lounge, a contemporary wedding planning concierge service for couples and wedding professionals. Finally, a Speaker of the Year nominee for the National Association of Catering and Events, one award, and popular educator for the Knot and Wedding Wire. She launched her new wedding industry education system, Hustle, sold separately, and that was this summer. Terrica is an ardent educator of those in the wedding industry, also hosting the She Doesn't Even Go Here podcast, which, by the way, if you haven't listened to this yet, you guys got to really listen to this podcast. It's hilarious. It's a great podcast. I hope to get on it soon.
Yeah.
And as an avid lover of cake, that's what I'm talking about, girl. I love me some cake too. So she's an avid lover of cake and champagne. You'll find her at home in the Golden Isles with her four fabulosas. I have to ask her about that. Fabutoses. Maybe I'm saying that wrong. Fabutots. Okay, there we go. Fabutots. And when not entertaining family and friends, she frequently brings on RuPaul's Drag Race and Game of Thrones, binging on those. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. I did binge on Game of Thrones. Did you?
I did not.
I did. I have to admit,
it's beautiful. It's
Have you seen RuPaul's Drag Race? It's hilarious, dude.
I gotta check it out.
Serious. Oh, it's so funny. All right. Without further ado, let us I'm just kidding. Let us bring on our guest, Terrica. Hey, Terrica, how are you?
Hey, love, how are you? Oh my gosh, no, thank you so much.
I am so glad that you're here. I've got to acknowledge.
So happy to be here.
We're happy to have you. I've got to acknowledge real quick here before we move any forward. So occasionally we have people that jump on, and we have to refer to them as Facebook user because they don't give StreamYard, which is the program we're using. They don't give StreamYard permission for us to show their name and their picture for Facebook. But we've kind of turned this into a game. Now, like whenever somebody comes in and says they're a Facebook user, we try to guess who it is. So this person said, they said, David, how's it going? Looking good, bro. So this has to be somebody who knows me.
Yeah.
It maybe isn't somebody who knows you.
Very possible.
Because they didn't say your name.
Right.
So we got to try to guess who this is, which means you may not even know.
I may not know.
Okay. This maybe is another clue.
The cat.
The cat. Huh. The cat. What's up? What's up? I got to be honest with you, man.
I don't know,
I'm kind of stumped. I'm stumped. So tell me who it is. I'm not sure who it is. Put your name in there if you want to, because I'm stumped for who it is at this point. Also said digging the hair.
Right.
Thank you. Oh, look at there. What is up, man? Oh my gosh, I haven't seen this dude in forever. Oh God. Okay. All right, we're taking away from our guests. Come on. Here, we got to keep moving. All right, guys, but seriously, feel free to put your comments in there, questions in there. Keep talking about my hair if you want to. I love that you are. No, I'm just kidding. It's fun. But seriously, if you'd like for us to know exactly who it is, all you got to do is go to StreamYard. There's a little link in the description of this video, and you just give them permission to. No, I know exactly who you are, Jem. I know exactly who you are now. I totally know who you are now, man. That's so funny. Thank you for checking in with us, man. Thank you so much. But definitely let StreamYard be able for us to post your names and your photos so that we and Terrica can reference you by something other than Facebook user. Although if we do, we do. Also want to give a shout out to all of our peeps that are watching on YouTube and on Twitch. So it's a lot of fun. All right, Terrica.
Hey,
I am so excited to have you here. What have you been up to since we last talked?
Oh my gosh. So I guess just like everybody else in the industry, I had a wedding on 10/10, and
of course.
Oh my God. I'm still suffering from a wedding hangover, but I'm okay. Ours was completely outside, so it was very, very 11th hour that the client decided that, hey, remember that tent you were telling us about? Maybe we should get it. So that was fun to do and to deal with. You have to love those. You gotta love those. Especially when they're like, well, we're gonna flip the tent and it'll be okay because you can just move the DJ. The DJ can move during cocktail hour. And I was like, no, my DJ can't move. And no, my DJ needs walls on the tent because we're not getting rained on. So it's just, with COVID not having you know, some work being postponed or some work being canceled, you kind of miss those arguments and little things like that, where it's like, please listen to me. You know what I mean? It helps. You know what I mean? This is not my first rodeo at all. So yeah, that's what I have been up to, and webinars galore and all of that. So yeah, your typical.
Yeah, I mean, every time I look at your stories on we got, oh, there's Big Earn. What's up, Big Earn? Every time I look at your stories on Instagram, I feel like you're on a webinar almost every single day. So you're definitely moving and shaking, and that's awesome. I think it's great.
I always have something to say, and unsolicited advice always. So it seems like it's getting picked up somewhere. So, but I'm happy to be here tonight, though.
Some of the best advice I've ever received was unsolicited advice, to be honest with you. So I'm happy to receive it. Positive or negative, at the end of the day, if people are talking about you, they're talking about you, right? Or they're talking to you, and they have an interest enough to want to talk to you. So
that's so true. Good. You know, I tell people all the time, you know what? Not everything I say is going to apply to you. So take what you need and leave the rest. You know, there's no need to say, oh, well, that doesn't really apply to me. Who cares? You know what I mean? Just take what you need. Move on. That's it.
Hey, Big Earn on Twitch.
Yeah, look, that's awesome.
There.
Big Earn watching us on Twitch.
Appreciate it,
man.
Appreciate it, man.
So, Terrica, how terrible did I butcher up your
my bio? You did amazing. No,
yeah, it was pretty solid, bro.
Tell me about the Fabutots, though, because that's where I got hung up. Tell me about this Fabutot.
The Fabutots are my children, so they've been called the Fabutots since I started my business. My kids actually grew up in my business, so I didn't name them that. A lot of my other colleagues call them the Fabutots, so that's what
it actually makes total sense to me now that I hear you say that. It makes total sense to me now.
Okay, so it's not tater tots.
No, it's not tater tots.
Not tater tots. No.
And it's also not like they're not going to be walking across any stages, sashaying or anything like that. Probably at this point, or maybe, I don't know. Maybe.
Give me a minute. Maybe, you know. Maybe.
That's fair.
It could happen.
All right.
They're mine,
all right.
So it could definitely happen.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. It definitely does. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about workflows and processes, and I know this is something that you're very passionate about, and Nick and I both really appreciate you jumping on with us tonight, and the folks that are watching. And once again, if you're just jumping on with us, we have my very special friend Terrica Skaggs joining us tonight, and she's going to be talking to you guys a little bit, well, all of us together, I should say, again, about workflows and processes and how they can impact and help your business. So if you guys have questions, as always, feel free to drop those in the comments, and we'll address those. But so let's kind of dive in a little. Maybe let's just set the tone first.
Sure.
And let Terrica talk a little bit about, when we say the word workflows and processes, first thing that comes to mind, what is it?
Efficiency. That's pretty much the first thing that comes into mind. I think that, you know, a lot of people wonder why their referrals dry up. And it's not so much that you did a poor job on the day of. It's that you drove everybody insane in the time leading up to that particular point, because you had nothing in order. You had nothing in place, which can spill over to the day before. So when you drive people crazy, they don't want to go through that anymore. And I think that that's super unfortunate, because I have my own personal creative partners that I just won't work with anymore, because I'm like, no, you literally make my teeth itch working with you, because you have nothing organized. I have had DJs say the wrong names during introductions. I have even though I have sent them information, I've had them call out the father-daughter dance, and the father has passed away. I've had photographers go to different areas, and people are like, oh, well, that's more like a production thing, but not really. If you had a really good workflow on the back end that helped you collect all of this information or review of this information, some of these unforced errors would not happen. And in our industry, where there are absolutely no do-overs, you really don't have a lot of space or wiggle room to make such finite mistakes. So that is what I would say when I think about workflows and processes. I think about efficiency.
Yeah, David, and Terrica, I think that's a great point. And you mentioned the word organization, and I think that's what really drove it home for me. Workflows for me have been all about organization. And like you said, staying on top of everything from the beginning of the process of booking to the end of when the night's over. From a videographer perspective as well. I've heard horror stories of videographers even showing up to the wrong venue and setting their stuff up and saying, "Oh, hey, no, you're at the wrong venue. Where are you? What's happening?" It's like, "Oh, I didn't even realize I was at the wrong venue."
Yeah, literally, as I was getting my hair done this weekend, I got a text from a wedding planner that said that the DJ for the event, actually it wasn't an event that she was at, but it was a photographer friend of hers that had messaged her and said that the DJ for the event that he was working at had the wrong date on his calendar for this wedding. And she asked me, do you have anybody available? Do you have anybody that can help out? And, I messaged all my guys, and, at the last minute, it was kind of tough, but, they all told me the same thing, that clearly this DJ had not spoken to the couple probably within the 30-day time frame that they should, 2-week time frame that they should. And especially right now where, the height of reschedules and cancellations and dates moving around and this, that, and the other thing, it's very important to be on top of these. So I think what we're talking about tonight is very important for sure.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And, you made a good point. I love how you said, you're so blessed that you could call your guys. You have other people that are working with you that you can, dish stuff out. If you don't have a proper workflow, you can't scale. You can't grow. I have people who come to me after, my speaking engagements or that I coach, and they're like, yes, I want a huge firm and I want to do this and I want to do that. And I'm like, okay, well, tell me how you do it. And they're like, oh, well, it's all up here. Who the hell is going up here? Like, you need a lobotomy in order to understand what's going on here. I have zero interest in trying to figure out what's up in here for you. I need you to let me know what your process is. So if you don't have a process, if you don't have a workflow, you can't scale. If you get sick, you can't hand that off and, expect someone to run it the same way that you would, or to give your client the same experience that you. If you're double booked, you can't expect all of your clients to have that same type of experience too. And I always ask people 2 questions when they're like, yes, I am ready to take the bull by the horns. Well, we all thought 2020 was our year, but that was just, I can't believe we counted down and toasted to this shit, to be honest with you. But next year, everybody's going to be saying, oh, 2021's my year. 2021 is my year.
Yeah.
Okay. And I say, well, let me ask you 2 questions. If Oprah called you, if Oprah tweeted about your business right now, would you be ready? Like, would you be able to handle everything? The retweets, the DMs, your inbox overflowing, your voicemail overflowing? Would you be able to hand out all of the different events that you would be able to do? And people are like, yeah. And I'm like, baby, you ain't even got a website. So how are you telling me you're ready? You know what I mean? You don't even have a workflow. How are you ready? And then the other question is, if Beyonce calls and she's like, you know what, David, I really want you to do my Grammy party. But you've got an event that day, and all of your guys have got an event that day. So you have to bring in, someone else or whatever. Again, would we be able to run it the way that you run your event, so that it would be completely seamless? No one would know that we weren't necessarily affiliated or whatever it is. So people need to be really honest with themselves when they answer these questions, because you can't, puff yourself up and say, yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, that's really cute. And the little engine that could. But if I look at your process, if I look at your books, if I look at your client experiences, if I polled your clients, if I polled your vendors, would they say that, yes, they're ready? So in being honest, if you say no, then let's find out where the breakdown is so that we can figure out, how to get you ready. Because then once you have your business working like a well-oiled machine, you can scale, you can grow to different areas or locations. You can grow with a larger staff. You can grow with larger services, with larger price services. There are so many ways that you can scale once you have everything in place.
Well, and I think also it's also okay to sometimes be able to just say, listen, I might not be ready for Oprah to do that, but maybe if Gail does it, like I'm okay, like I'm ready for Gail to do it. Right, okay. because I feel like I might be able to
Gail
handle
level.
like
I'm not Oprah level.
Gail level, but I'm not quite ready for Oprah level, and that's okay, right? Because like if you need to test the waters with Gail's circle of influence first, at least maybe you put yourself in a better position. But also being honest with yourself and being able to say, listen, like, I'm not ready for. What I'm talking about is you need to be in a position where you're like, you know what, Oprah, I'm going to text you out. I'm going to tweet you out. I'm going to do it for you. But until you get to that point, like, you might want to just try to do a party for Oprah's chauffeur or something. Like, take your time. It's okay to take your time.
But I think it's a great point that Terrica that you made, where it's like, are you really ready? I understand the. What's that? Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, have you ever noticed like how someone will go viral and they seem so totally ill-equipped for their success?
Yeah, that's a fantastic
because they had
point.
no process. They had they were not ready at all, and it's just like, wow, that one moment that you thought was going to be amazing for you turned out actually to be your downfall. How many times have we watched the Shark Tank show, and people they go on, they get their money, and then their websites don't work, or they can't keep up with communications, and what was supposed to be a huge boon for them ends up finishing them. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. That just popped in my head. So I just wanted to make sure.
That's a fantastic point. And to that point, it's kind of like, if you were ready to grow now, maybe not, like David was saying, not necessarily to Oprah level, but if you were ready to grow, or would your workflow be able to handle that? And I think that's a really great point. And like, as a younger business owner, like, I can be honest with myself right now and say, probably not. But maybe we can start to talk about what those processes look like to get there.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, just understanding, because sometimes people think that they are in a good position, but there's got to be some signs that really are just those triggers that say, yeah, no, you're not really where you need to be. And maybe you can help us with just a couple of those types of things, like, just those signs that say, yo, you really need a workflow for real.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Okay, so the first one is always kind of like the major red flag is when your clients are stressed out. When your clients are even more stressed out with you, if they hadn't had you, that is a super telltale sign. If you are not enhancing them, if you're not bringing any value to them, then I say that all the time. You know what? If your presence doesn't add any value to someone, then your absence will make no difference. So you always have to be bringing value to your clients. So if your clients are saying, I am so stressed out, I don't understand, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Now keep in mind too, like, some of our clients need ABC mouse. Some of them don't read, some of them don't listen at all. So you could tell them 3,000 times and they still don't get it. But for the ones who are actually paying attention, and the ones that aren't super anxious about their events and planning their events, if they don't understand, if they feel stressed out, if your creative partners also feel super stressed out, if they don't have what they need to incorporate your service into the event, that's a telltale sign right there that, you really need to step it up. Another sign is just, again, unforced errors. You forgot to quote something, and you have to go back and say, oh, I left off, all of these linens on your quote. I have to send you a new quote, and then now it's going to be more. You have to figure out where that breakdown came from. If you're forgetting things that clients are telling you, if you're forgetting to quote something, if you're forgetting to send something, if you are forgetting to communicate with someone, that is going to be another sign as well. And those are things that, kind of rear their heads throughout the planning process, and then they just get exacerbated the closer we get to the wedding, because everybody's stress levels begin to increase the closer you get to the event. It's even worse on the day of. I tell my team all the time, there are absolutely zero do-overs. I cannot say, hey, John and Jane, I am so sorry things didn't work out today, but meet me here tomorrow and I promise we'll get it right. I don't have that luxury at all. So you have to make sure that everything is done perfectly, because they are going to be, especially if they've been super anxious throughout the planning process, they're going to be looking for something to go wrong. It's like they're going to be on edge waiting for something to go wrong, and you don't ever want that to happen. So just pay attention to, and again, it all comes to you being honest, it's not always the other person. You know what I mean? It's not always your client that is angry or anxious or upset. Sometimes it's you. Sometimes you are creating a bridezilla, you're creating a momzilla or a groomzilla with your process, with your lack of process as well, that's not adding any value to their planning. In fact, it's creating a deficit, and it's making it so much harder for them to enjoy planning or for them to feel like they're being very productive at their planning.
Yeah, I think definitely just you mentioning you like you did, and you know, Nick, you can attest to this. Like I've always taught everybody on our staff, like this is like live TV show. You don't get a chance to do it over again. You have to make every effort possible to do it right the first time. And like you said, you can't just be like, hey, let's get together and we'll try to do it over again next week. Right. And you know, let's see how that goes. And and I think too, you also bring up a good point. Hey, real quick, let me say hi to our buddy Lincoln. Hey, Lincoln, good to see you, man. Thanks for jumping in with us again. Lincoln checks in with us every week, Terrica. He's in Honolulu, Hawaii.
He's the best.
Am I right?
Oh my
Honolulu?
God.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's in Hawaii, so
he's awesome.
He checks in with us every week.
Why aren't we doing this live from?
Yes, you are right. We need to come to Hawaii. But no, but I think what you said makes a lot of sense. And one place that I think people sometimes might not realize that they can do this is to go back and look at the different reviews that you get from past clients. And you're going to start to see a pattern of things that those past clients are going to all kind of say that, you know, oh, we loved their, you know, music. If you're a DJ, we love their music request app, or, you know, we love the fact that shout out to our sponsor Request Now. We love the fact that they could text message requests to the DJ. So there's different things, you know, if you're a wedding planner, we love the fact that, you know, every time we had a question, it was easy to find our planner. We didn't have to look all over the room and figure out where the hell she was or he was or all that kind of thing. And so when you start to see those similarities coming through in reviews and things like that you get, that kind of tells you that those are some of the things that are good about your workflow and the way that you do things that you really should accentuate on. You know?
And there's data all over the place. Yeah, and you know what I mean? Like when you get a review, when you look back and you say, all right, how was my process or how's my workflow? What did I do differently on this one? Those are all things that you can use, I think, to almost improve your workflow. Like that's something I've noticed too, being fresh in businesses. You know, the more weddings I do, the more data I can have, and I can look back and say, all right, how could I have optimized this, or how could I have made this, you know, more efficient for sure.
Yeah. Look here, Lincoln says, I definitely like to see you guys book a wedding here in Honolulu, Hawaii, and I would like to help set up and watch you guys in action. Man, Terrica, I think we got a challenge here.
I feel like we should take him up on it. I really don't think we're not punks, so let's do it. Let's do it.
We got to figure out a way to get us all over to Hawaii and do that. All right, so let's say I'm a newbie. Let's say that like I'm just like, you've been on here for 20 minutes already and you're blowing my mind and this sounds really great and I'm not really sure. Big Ern said he's in for Hawaii. Big Ern can bring those new lights he just got. I don't know if you've seen some of the posts. Oh my God, these new lights.
Are they the tube lights?
The tube lights.
Oh dude,
ridiculous.
Ern, dude, those lights are phenomenal. Yeah, and ridiculous. the pictures he gets are crazy.
I know. Yeah. This is how my brain works, like all over the place. All right, so I'm a new guy, or like this sounds really cool, but I don't even know where the hell to start. Right. So how do I even start building these, you know, this workflow and these processes? Like, how do I even start? Where do I start? Terrica, how can you help with that?
Okay, so, and I totally get it because this sounds so abstract, right? When people hear this, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I know I need it, but how do I do it? And I've been there too. So I liken it to a recipe. You know what I mean? When you follow a recipe, you figure out what ingredients you need, you figure out what tools you need, and then you figure out what actions that you have to take. So break your workflow down like that. But today, we are going to break it down into 4 things, okay? I tell people all of the time to get a piece of paper and let's just do a brain dump. And we're going to put in 4 different columns. One is going to be for communications. The next one is going to be actions. The next one is going to be systems. And then the next column is going to be schedule. So let's focus on our communications column first, right? And let's take this it's so much easier to do it with your biggest package, because then once you have your biggest package broken down, you can take pieces of that and, you know, make it work for some of your smaller packages. So let's take this from the very beginning, from sales all the way down to, you know, really post booking, post event. So what do we need to talk to them about? We need to have a confirmation email with our contract. We need to have a welcome email, our onboarding email. We need to have our next step email. What about the emails that are going to be acquainted with your questionnaires? You know, I know our DJs have questions about what songs you want played, you know, what songs don't you want played, what type of feel do you want for these particular moments in the event. So what type of communications are you sending along with your questionnaires that go to your clients? Same thing for, you know, our cinematographers. What moments do you want captured? What music do you want played? What's the feel for it? So think about every time you send out a questionnaire, when you send out a check-in email, when you send out a meeting request, all of those are communications. So write down all of the communications that you have. Okay, and then next, let's move over to our actions column. And our actions column, they're not necessarily our communications, it's what we do. So, you know, if I book a client, the first thing I have to do is set up their folder on my computer, set it up in a cloud for the rest of the team, set up this in our virtual office. So these are all of the actions. So think of all the things that you actually have to do for your event. You know, pack up your gear, check your gear, send out the questionnaire, send out your timeline to everyone else. So just brain dump all of your actions there. And then next, move on to the systems column. And what systems do you use? If you have a CRM, I'm pretty sure this will be super helpful for you. A lot of people use Honeybook or Dipsado or Tabe. Some people even just use some of the Google, I forgot what they call them now, but they're like little, I don't know, they're like little magical system things within Google. Within Google Suite. I forgot what they
Google
call them.
Forms.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, like they had Boomerang, which is incorporated into Google Suite as well. So yes, think about all the forms that you need. You can use Typeform, Google Forms. You could use the questionnaire service within your CRM. Just think about, in my case, I have a virtual office that I use for my clients as well. When I'm doing room layouts, I use my layout software. So that's a system too. So just think about all of the things that you use. Those are our tools in our recipe analogy. And then next, let's move on to the schedule. This is where we kind of tie it all together. So when are you sending that email from the communications column? When are you doing that action? When are you sending off the questionnaire? When are you building the timeline? When are you packing your gear? When are you rechecking the timeline? When are you meeting with the clients? When are you using that particular system? When you brain dump everything and you actually see exactly what it is that you do on paper, you can kind of mind map it, and then you can build your own workflow from there. And you literally have the blueprint of what it takes for you to create a successful wedding that is very reflective of your brand and your process, which is going to be super important. So that is the great way to start at building your workflow.
That's absolute fire there, man.
Yeah.
That's fire right there.
Some knowledge dropping.
So Lincoln says, as far as communications, whenever I did weddings for the first time to recent weddings, I always get the wedding planner / wedding party planner as a bride and grooms to give me the minimum information. And sometimes they tell me to just go with the flow, but I'm the type of person who likes to have everything laid out, time frames and all.
Yeah.
I think that's
Lincoln,
smart.
Same. So same.
And
because, you know, they change their minds all the time.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, they change their minds all of the time, and you have nothing to reference at all. And it's just like, you know, I don't want to give you last weekend's wedding. I want to give you your wedding. You know, I want to know what's super important. So I need those details.
The other thing, too, is the fact that, you know, I think it's really our responsibility to make sure that our clients, you know, in a polite way, of course, but make sure that they understand, like, the importance of why you're asking these questions.
Yes.
The importance of why you're going into this stuff, because, you know, let's be honest, for a lot of your clients, this is the first time they're ever doing this.
Yep.
And they don't know what they don't know. I always say there's a big difference between ignorance and stupidity. And most of the clients that we work with are ignorant. A few of them maybe are the latter, but no, I'm just kidding. But I don't want any of the people that hired me to now fire me because I said that. But no, like being ignorant is not a bad thing. Like, it's okay to be ignorant. It just means you don't know any better. But we think about it like riding a bike, and the old analogy of like teaching somebody how to ride a bike, like you forget more than you remember to teach. Yeah. And when we, especially those of us that do events and have been doing events for a long time, it becomes very second nature to us. I get this rubber band out of my hand. It just becomes very like just systematic for us in our heads, but we forget that our client doesn't necessarily understand the same values of the reasons why the questions that are being asked. Right.
I mean, like you said, it's the first time that this is happening for them. And also an important thing to keep in mind as well is we're trying to create the best experience for our client. I mean, at the end of the day, of course, I want my brand and my company to be represented, in the best light. But when I ask those questions, or I'm reaching out, like Lincoln said, it's to make the experience for the couple better, and like Terrica said as well in the beginning, it's for the betterment of the couple, because you don't get a second chance at this. So I mean, this is a live experience for them. So I always try to keep that in the back of my head as well.
All right, we got another Facebook user saying hi guys. So hi. That's not hi guys is not enough information for me to try to even guess who this one is. Usually I can usually tell by the lingo by which is used in the comment who the person might be. But hi guys is too generic that I just don't think that we're going to guess that one. So anyway, hi, good to see you. Terrica, what are some of the maybe a couple of the big pitfalls that some of the big pitfalls that maybe you see people run into a lot, like areas that they really, really want to make sure they don't mess up in? And also, before you answer that, I'm just going to let you guys know I got to run out of here for a second because I'm being summoned by the pup that was here earlier that she needs to go outside. So I'll be right back.
All right.
I'll let you guys keep going. Let's go.
Okay. So what was the question? Major pitfalls, right?
Yes.
That you want to make sure that you avoid. So this kind of ties into like the systems that we were talking about. I love working automatically. For example, like I have my system set up to send certain communications to my clients at different intervals within the planning process. So if I haven't heard from them in a while, I will, sometimes my system will generate an email to say, hey, we were just thinking about you. We hope that you are doing great. We can't wait to catch up or whatever. And a majority of them are like, oh my gosh, you thought about me. And it's like, girl, I was in bed. But what I mean? It's just that thought that, it continues the client experience that I am known for. It continues the brand experience that I am known for. So when you have those automatic emails go out, you really want to make sure that you have them timed perfectly within your workflow, so that it's not like that would not make sense if a client received that and I just talked to them the day before. You know what I mean? It would not make sense if my system sends that out and it doesn't have all of the correct information, if it's using, the wrong tokens to input their names or their dates or whatever. So systems can be really great to use, and it can take off so much off your plate. You just want to make sure that it's being used correctly, so that it doesn't look like it was an automated thing. So that's a major pitfall that you want to make sure that you avoid.
Right. That's a fantastic point. And truthfully, I use HoneyBook as my CRM. And I love that most of these actually have a workflow kind of built in where you can do right, which is incredible. I mean, it's very like I didn't even realize when I was first getting started in business, I was like, man, like I'm sending out all these emails and I'm trying to time this all at the same time. And it's like, what's happening? And it's like, man, make your life a little bit more efficient and easier, because it's just another thing to add on. And I'll tell you, it's easy to forget. And it's easy just
so easy, right? So easy.
Right.
So
and
so easy.
Right. And it's just, I mean, just make your life easier. I mean, we had a previous guest actually on our podcast. Shout out to the Rookie in the Vet podcast if you're not listening to that. Shameless plug. Who was talking about, automation's everything, right? So the less you can take off your plate and the more brain power you can free up, like you said, you'll be able to grow more. And I think that's honestly what David's been able to do with his company is some of those automation principles are really important. So I think that's a great point. And then let's just get to this comment here real quick. Sorry, it's Priyanka from Book Summit. Wasn't sure how to add my name. No worries, Priyanka. Thank you for checking in with us. We really appreciate it. And we're looking forward to Book Summit. Huge shout out real quick to the Book Summit happening on Thursday. We're so excited to be a part of it. I know I'm going to be there. It's not too late to get your tickets, so we still got some spots left. So definitely check that out if you are interested in that. Gonna riff here for a little bit. What else can we talk about here? Maybe some more some more ways to optimize. I mean, I'm always looking for ways
I was gonna say too that I don't know what it's like for you guys, because I know it's all different. We're in different areas, but like I want to see maybe April, May is like my peak. And then September, October, maybe first week of November, it is just absolutely insane down here. It is absolutely, I would not be able to function without my automations. I cannot imagine me having to have the brain space to do that during my busy seasons. You know what I mean? When you're coming off one wedding and then you have to prep for another one. So you're doing yourself a huge favor when you build a workflow, but when you can incorporate those systems that take care of so many things for you, that's collecting the information and then depositing it wherever you tell it to, so that you can review it later, so that you don't have those mishaps of, not having the proper names for the event. You go into the wrong venue at an event. So, I mean, because there's busy and then there is just almost malpractice.
Disoriented.
In some sorts. Absolutely. Like, where are you? What exactly is it that you're doing? So I think that, if you ever found yourself super overwhelmed by a busy season, that now is the time to build your workflow. I can even see this happening for next year. I feel like next year, even whether it's going to be intimate weddings or if larger weddings do come back, they haven't really gone anywhere for us. Georgia is just doing whatever it wants, but I feel like next year, Georgia's like, yeah, whatever. Next year is going to be super crucial, because it's going to be just one big wedding season. You have 2021 brides who are like fighting 2020 brides for prime dates. So when you're going to have so many people going from now Thursdays to Sundays with events, you really have zero space to make mistakes and again, people, they're going to be, their emotions are already heightened, but when, in the midst of a pandemic and being quarantined, it's even more so. So making sure that you definitely have all of that in place and doing it now is going to be super crucial, so that you're not, quote unquote, learning on the job next year in the middle of one of your busiest seasons.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to answer a few comments here we got from Big Earn. We use Dubsado for their stuff. That's
awesome.
Awesome.
Dubsado
very cool.
Awesome.
And he also says 2022 is nuts already. The hiccup. I'm telling you, it's gonna be crazy. And I'm already feeling it. And I'll tell you, the feeling, if you're a young business owner out there, the feeling of the disorganization and the disorientation that you feel from not having, like you're trying to play catch up, these things can really, really be negated by automating some of your workflows. So fantastic point there.
Absolutely.
If you can automate, do you have any, maybe some other recommendations for how you can automate? I mean, is there anything else that you know of that we can?
I'm trying to think of, things that I automate or things that I do. Aside from like sending out the email thing is crucial. That's like a standard for us. We've also been using Loom a lot now too, to do our walkthroughs. So I will go and take video, or I will do a virtual mock-up of the space, and I will do a virtual walkthrough with my client. So I'll do it on Loom. That's been very good to do as well. Awesome. This is something that I always tell people too, like when you do your workflow, when you do your communications, always look for opportunities to make more money. Leave zero money on the table. So I say, I have a did you forget email that goes out 2 months prior to the actual wedding day. So before I start my coordinating, but it's still early enough to where we can make some changes. So also, did you remember to get menus? Did you remember to add on the microphone for the ceremony? Did you remember to get a second shooter for this? And so it makes money, not just for me, but for some of my creative partners as well, as opposed to them finding out closer to the event where they're already like, oh my God, one more thing that we have to spend. They're kind of like more apt. There was one other thing that I wanted to say about how some people feel like their art is going to be enough to carry them. And it's like, you're cute, but you're not that cute. You know what I mean? Like it does not matter how good you think you are on the day of. I have seen some of the most beautiful weddings. I have overseen them as part of my mentorship program. I have assisted with them, but it was complete chaos getting there. And you don't see that on the Instagram picture. No, you don't. But everybody at that event felt it. The kitchen felt it when you put them behind. My musicians felt it when they had to go over and they had to tell the client that, you owe me more money because we were ready. But, your design team, they held everything up and they put us behind. So it can't just be about how pretty you make things or how fun you make things. If it was an absolute massacre, all of my Game of Thrones people know, if it was a battle of the bastards getting there, if it was a red wedding getting there, it does not matter how pretty it was or how much fun it was. And so a lot of people are like, well, everybody does the same thing, right? And it's totally true. I don't know if you guys know, but there are other wedding planners out there. Amazing, right? There's other wedding planners. There's other entertainers. There's other cinematographers, other photographers. We all do the same thing. It's how we do it and what we do it that sets us all apart. So I always tell people the McDonald's story. I tell them, and forgive me if you guys have heard it, but I'm going to share it for your viewers as well. But I will fight you right now on the premise of saying that McDonald's has the best Sprite ever. Their Sprite will put hair on your chest regardless of gender, okay? It is absolutely amazing. You can have a hard night partying, you hit up the 24-hour McDonald's, you get a Sprite or a Coke, you put it on your nightstand. At noon the next day, that baby is still bubbly and sweet, and it is still good, right? And it's because they do it different. Burger King sells Coke, they sell Sprite, so does Wendy's. I think Taco Bell does Pepsi, but you get my point. Everybody else sells soda, but McDonald's is different. It's different. I wasn't always an amazing wedding planner. I used to work in the food industry, and I can remember when they would bring in the sodas. And if you guys don't know, the soda is actually syrup in this heavy ass plastic bag that you have to be in the world's strongest man contest in order to heft that thing up over your shoulder and throw it onto the machine, hook it up to the tubes, and then it works. McDonald's does not bring in their Coke products like that. They're brought in stainless steel containers on a truck. So they're also brought in at a certain temperature. They're water 2 levels to help with carbonation. Oh, there I am. Okay. All right. So it's kept at CO2 levels to help with the carbonation. So, but that's not it. So that's what makes it really good. But they also, the straw is wider than anybody else's straw. Okay. And that's so it can hit more of your taste buds. You get more of the flavor, you get more of the carbonation. So I always ask people when you're building your workflow, yes, you're not the only whatever it is that you are. Everybody else is doing the same thing, but what is your straw? How do you bring in your Coke? How do you bring in your soda that makes you different? What is your straw that makes the experience different? How does, the way that you bring in your Coke make the experience different for your client? So if you don't understand anything else that I've said tonight, just write it on your board. What is my straw? And figure out what makes it different for you and how you can make that experience different for your clients as well.
I love it.
Big Earn. I'm waiting for the IV straw. Me too, brother. That's awesome.
Same. Hashtag same.
Just injection.
So I didn't want to interrupt you guys, but tonight is a prime example of how sometimes you're doing something live and anything can happen. Yeah. And Terrica has her Fabutots and I have Furbutots. And so my Furbutots summoned me and said, we are not waiting. We have to go out now. And
We're
like the younger
now.
one, yes. And the younger one who was just in my lap a minute ago, she's the kind of one that just will go out, do her business, come right back in.
Mm-hmm.
Her older sister, on the other hand, has to literally go to every single inch of the yard and make sure that anything that comes in the yard knows, like, this is my yard. Step off, bitch. This is all mine. And so I apologize for my absence,
No,
but I'm
That's
back.
hilarious.
I'm glad to be back.
No.
But
I mean,
you.
well, it's lucky because my fur baby, I don't see where she is at all. She makes an appearance every time she sees the ring light come on, and I don't know where Cersei is, but yeah, she's a loud Siamese cat, and she is just ridiculous. She's like, "Oh, we're going live. They're naturally here to see me and not you." So I feel like you get to take one for the team for the fur babies tonight.
So we're going to post your contact information in the show notes of our show and everything, and so people can know how to get a hold of you. But there's a special program that you have that's going to be for another couple of days, I believe it is. And we wanted to thank you for giving the people who watch our show a discount code for Work the Workflow. Can you just tell us a little bit about Work the Workflow and why? Obviously I know why, but just kind of why somebody would want to invest in this product. And by the way, again, thank you for allowing our viewers and our listeners to have this discount code, which we'll be posting for everybody.
Oh, of course. No, it's absolutely my pleasure, because like we were talking about before, now is the time to get your stuff together for next year. You do not want to wait. You don't want to wait when you're too busy. You don't want to wait when you are occupied with trying to create the client experience. You already want to have your recipe made. You know what I mean? You want to already have it in place. It's just like cooking dinner. You know what I mean? Once you have your dinner already mapped out in your head, it goes so much easier versus you at dinner time looking at, okay, well, what is it that I have in the cabinets? What can I do? What can I make? If you already have this pre-planning. So Work the Workflow really takes the headache out of building your workflow. And I am literally right there with you both in video and in audio, taking you through how to create a workflow. I'll help you build all of your services, and then we will figure out exactly what communications, what actions, when in the workflow, when in the planning process we need to do that as well. And I'll even show you how I build mine too. So I think that it's absolutely imperative for all of us who are looking to streamline, not to go nuts next year, because a lot of us are getting inundated with leads, we're getting inundated with reschedules and then weddings that we already had on the books. I also want you to have a moment of your peace as well, because 2020 has just wrecked all of us. And I always tell people that there is an amazing document that Abraham Lincoln signed called the Emancipation Proclamation that most brides have never heard of at all. Because when you hire a creative partner, when you hire a vendor, you have secured a service, not a person. And a lot of times they don't feel like, they feel like, I've hired you, you'll do whatever I want, you'll make whatever happen. And that's not necessarily true. So I always really stress to my wedding partners that I really want you to have a life. I want you to have a process. I really want you to enjoy what you do. I want you to enjoy your time off. And then when you come back from your time off, I want you to know what you have to do next without stressing out about it. I really want you to enjoy it. I want you to be able to hand it off if you need to, and whatever that is. And the best way to do that is with your workflow. So that is what Work the Workflow is going to help you do. And I really hope that you guys take advantage of it. And if you have any questions about that at all, I am super accessible. Don't worry about it. Just text me, call me, DM me. I'll be there hovering.
I love it.
Love it. Yeah. Serious knowledge bombs dropped tonight. Terrica, thank you so much for being on with us again.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And be sure to check that out, guys. I mean, this is really valuable stuff. And honestly, it's stuff that when I was really, really first getting started, it's stuff I wish I would have known. It'll save you a lot of headache for sure.
Let's go through some of our comments here, because I always like to make sure we acknowledge our faithful viewers and listeners. So Lincoln says, maybe we can have Terrica in the Zoom meeting when I get things together.
Yeah.
I love it. I think we might know somebody that could help us get Terrica on with us again. Big Earn says the talent. We were talking about some things. Yep. And then huge knowledge, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Appreciate
so
you.
guys, again, we'll be dropping the link and also the code for you guys to save $10 off of the Work the Workflow product. We'll be dropping that in the replay. So you'll see that on our YouTube channel or our Twitch channel if you want that information. Or, of course, you can always reach out to myself or Nick directly.
Yep.
We have now decided to put our social media because on the thing here, so you can see it somewhere down here. And we'd love for you guys to follow us if you're not already. I think a lot of our normal viewers do. But if you're not, definitely follow us, and we will definitely follow you back and engage and chat with you and have a good time and answer any questions we can. So two things, Nick. Number one, one of our sponsors, Request Now, just came out. I really wish I would have got the graphics for this. Darn it! So Request Now just came out with some new swag shirts, and they have given us the opportunity to give one away. Now, full disclosure, Nick and I worked almost right up until showtime today, so we honestly did not have enough time to put together the giveaway for the Request Now t-shirts for tonight's program. But we're going to put that up, so those of you guys that follow us in the different groups that we're a part of, look for that coming up really soon, and we're going to give you a chance to possibly win one of those Request Now t-shirts. Secondly, our buddies at Poddex. Thank you for this shirt, by the way. Nick, I think you had yours on.
I had mine
last week or the week before. Our buddies at Poddex. Terrica, you have no idea what you're in for right now. This is our favorite part of the entire show. And I think, honestly, this is part of the show that the majority of the people that watch us, this is, and I think that they come for the education, but they stick around for this part right here because this is always a lot of fun. So, Nick, do you have your pod deck questions ready?
Let's load it up.
So here's how it goes, Terrica. Nick and I are going to ping pong questions back and forth to both you and each other, and the audience will probably get in on this and answer these questions as well. And they're just a random bunch of hopefully very funny questions. Yeah, yes, we should do that.
Yeah, he wants to be on there. Let's go.
You know what, Ern, we'll bring you on, bud. Are you ready? We'll bring you on. Okay, so we're gonna let me see how can let me do this. Tell you what, why don't Nick, why don't you go with the first question, and then I'll start getting Big Ern on here.
Okay, so let's go with this first question here. This is coming from the How Dare You deck. Big thanks to Podcast. Okay, so these aren't as bad as you would think they are, I promise. So here's the first question for you. What can you sometimes be prejudiced about? First question.
Wow, you came out the gate with that one.
That was hard. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's going 0 to 100.
I don't like cheap liquor.
Cheap liquor?
Cheap liquor, yeah.
That's fair. Okay. Any soda that's not Dr. Pepper. Can't drink. I mean, that's pretty much it. I'd say that's mine. David, you got one?
I would say pets that won't wait to let you finish your podcast before they have to go to the bathroom and interrupt you.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I don't know. That's just a whim and a prayer there. All right. So Ern, I just sent you the link, so hopefully you should have that in Facebook if you want to jump on with us. All right, here you go. I got one for you guys. The question is, hold on, before we go there. Cheap bed sheets or toilet paper. I love that.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes.
Cheap toilet paper.
Yes.
I love that one. That's too funny. All right, you guys, here we go.
All right.
What is the strangest thing you've ever seen in the middle of the road? Terrica, I'll go to you first. What is the strangest thing you've ever seen in the middle of the road?
Oh my gosh. A naked little person.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Is there a story behind this?
Can we get a little context?
You're leaving.
Well, I don't know what happened to them. We pulled over to make sure they were okay, and they said that they fell off of a truck and they were drunk and they were missing their friends. So yeah, I don't know what happened to them, but that was the strangest thing I've ever seen. I mean, I don't know what happened to them before. We didn't just leave them naked and stranded in the street. We waited and called someone. But yeah, that must have been one hell of a party that they were at.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I guess can I answer that one too? Okay. All right. I'm gonna get in on there. What was it? What was the question?
What was the strangest thing you've ever seen in the middle of the road? Facebook user said a moose.
How about me when I got hit by a car when I was down at FGCU?
That's pretty strange.
Oh my guy.
Oh.
Yeah, that was rough. I got hit by a car, almost died. That fun story about me that you may or may not have known.
I don't know if that's strange. Well, you are kind of a strange guy.
I'm a strange fella.
No, you're pretty cool. You're a good guy.
Yeah, just fine. All right, am I ready for a question?
Yeah, bring it.
All right. What's the scariest sound you could hear in the middle of the night? Go ahead and sit on that one. Pontificate on that one for a little bit.
The scariest sound you could hear in the middle of the night.
What you got?
Wow.
Right now, mine would probably be Dad, because there's no reason for me to do that right now. I don't know.
Fair.
Oh man.
Oh wow.
What about you guys? Y'all got any?
Well, I guess the window breaking, because that means it's about to get real.
Yeah, that's
after that.
Yeah, that's a very accurate and honest answer. I mean, that's
Hey Ern, check your DMs from Nick. I had to send it from Nick's computer. You should have a link to jump in with us.
I would say mine would be like voices, like similar to what you said, kind of like voices that you're clearly by yourself and you hear things. It's like, whoa, all right, maybe not.
All right, here he is. Let's bring him in. So, Terrica, just to let you know, this we're bringing our buddy Big Ern out of the great state of Washington. Okay. Yes, and this guy is, super hilarious.
Hey, what's up, guys? Man. Hi, Terrica.
Wow, you're looking great. That's a great setup you got there, brother.
Hey, thank you. This shaping up a little bit better.
Looking good. Yeah. All right, this one's actually a pretty interesting one.
Didn't you just ask a question? Or did I ask that question? Yeah, my bad. All right. Yeah, sorry.
Question hall. Sorry. All right, no, I think actually this one's pretty interesting, and this one's actually not funny at all. It's actually an interesting one. So, Big Ern, since you jumped in with us just now, I'm going to go to you first, and I'll give Nick and Terrica a second to think about this. So the question is, how would you describe yourself to a blind person in 5 words or less?
Oh, wow. Do I need to use all 5 words? I mean,
5 words or less, so it doesn't have to be all 5.
I just gotta say, big fun. It's straight up big fun.
And to be honest with you, knowing what I know about you, I think it's a perfect description. Nick, what about you?
Oh, geez. Come on, man.
Come on. What you got?
Stringy. Awkward. Oh, I love the sympathy.
I didn't think this was going to be a funny one, but it's turning into a funny one pretty quickly.
This is rough, man. God. All right. Furry.
Yeah.
Wow.
Furry fella.
Yeah. Hey, what does this remind you of? Don't mean to offend you, man, but I'm not a big fan of facial hair.
Oh, bro. Too soon.
I'm just picking. I'm totally picking. All right, Terrica, you got what do you got? Come on back to us.
Oh my God. I've only got 4. I've got tall, golden, curvy, fun. I don't have a 5th one. That's it.
Must be nice.
I think powerful. No, I mean that very very genuinely.
I miss short, dude.
Yeah, no, I mean that very genuinely too. I think you should add that one.
Nick's still going back.
Nick, you know what? Let me ask you, Ern or Terrica, have you guys ever seen the show Workaholics?
Yes.
So Nick just then kind of reminded me of that the episode when they went to the Van Nuys. I don't know if you remember this one, but they went to the Van Nuys location and they were trying to sell themselves on the phone. And like one of the guys started talking about himself. And then one of the other guys was like, and I'd like to move the conversation back over to me now.
I would feel like it's gonna pop up a little later.
And I was like, damn, I'm pretty short. I was like, oh, I forgot short. There we go.
We did have to do some manipulation of the old podcast room here today to make ourselves look about the same height.
That's
actually,
why
you actually look a little taller than me now.
He's not. David's significantly taller
You
than
actually
him.
look a lot taller than me.
I look good.
I'm actually sitting in the floor right now, and I'm like my knees are my legs are crossed, and he's sitting in a chair next to me.
Did you find a stack of like phone books from like
Phone
2007?
Right?
Yeah, I'm sitting on all the Harry Potter novels.
All right, what do you got, Matt? We're almost out of time here.
All
We
right.
can't keep these guys all night.
If humans came with a warning label, what would yours say? Did we already use that question?
Yeah, I think we used that
I'm
one
gonna
before.
Skip that one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
what would be the absolute worst name you could give to your child?
Oh my gosh.
Have fun. Enjoy.
What would be the absolute worst name you could give?
That's so
to your-
horrible because anybody named that could be watching and feel so terrible
Yeah.
saying it.
Just go with something like
Stay away from Karen, I think is one right now. Stay away from
Yeah.
Karen.
respect the drip, Aaron.
Respect
Kevin's.
your-
I think the last one I would probably say would be Consuelo Banana Hammock would be the other one. Yeah, that's a total Friends reference. If some of y'all didn't catch that, it's okay.
That's a great one.
That's hilarious.
Princess
Consuelo Hammock.
Princess Consuelo Banana
Good
Hammock.
one.
There we go.
Banana.
Terrica?
Terrica, any thoughts on bad child names?
You know
I'm
what?
trying to
To be
think,
quite
like-
honest with you, I'm not crazy.
Hey,
about
look who's
the-
here, guys.
Hey guys,
Like the apples.
how's it going?
What's
to see you.
up?
Sorry, Terrica.
It's all right. I can... Good to see you all.
Fine.
Good to see you too.
Thanks for checking in.
Heck yeah, looks like fun.
We're always having a good time, and we're always happy when Ern joins in on the fun because he's got the crazy answers all the time with us.
Accurate.
That he does. That he does.
Awesome.
Good
Well, I'll
to
let
see you,
you
Aaron.
guys do it.
Thank you. All right, Terrica, go ahead. Did you have a second to think of one?
Okay. You know what? It just came to me. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So whatever Elon's kids name, that's the worst.
Oh yeah,
That's the worst.
yeah. That's
You
really
can't
really
pronounce it.
bad.
It's like a bunch of symbols. Literally,
know
it?
just a bunch of symbols. That's
It's
the
like-
worst name.
It's like
That is the worst
XIE144. It's like a robot. Like
Oh,
keep
Yeah.
going.
gotcha. Yeah.
Don't name your kids after fruit. Don't name
Yeah.
your kids after a direction on a compass. I mean,
Yeah.
Or like a
Right,
character
yeah.
from Star Wars.
Yeah.
right?
I'm gonna name my kid Obi-Wan just because of that.
Well, I can't. Maybe it's just because I'm brain dead tonight and tired. But I was trying to think of like what would be funny if you were to hear like a parent yell it out in Walmart or the grocery store or something like that. Like if they name it welfare check or like something crazy
I gotta-
like that. You know what I mean?
You weren't planned.
Names that
You were adopted.
You know. Or if they name their kid EBT, like you know what I mean? Get back in the cart, EBT, or you know just something crazy like that.
yeah.
We're going down
Don't
bro.
name your kid WIC. You know, just because you think the WIC stands for welfare is cool.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
don't
Right.
do that. Yeah,
Right.
it's not a good thing.
All right. Let's move on. Let's move
Yeah,
on. From this. All right, but we're gonna stick in the category of names. Okay, so this question is: what would be the name of your alter ego? What would be the name of your alter ego?
Mine is Sabrina. Yeah, mine
Okay.
exists. Mine is Sabrina.
I think I'm already in my alter ego. I'm living my alter ego already. My original self is not here anymore, you know. So Big Earn is just Big Earn. That is what it is. But gosh, I mean, my alter ego is maybe my court name, you know, Mr. Ernesto Lara Jr., you know, maybe. That's my alter ego.
That's your government name?
My court name, my you know, as a defendant, you know, Mr. Ernesto Lara Jr., the defendant, please rise. Yeah.
Hopefully that's not spoken too often.
It was before. It was quite a bit.
Oh,
I want to say 10 years ago. Yeah. My my driving record, yeah, is finally clearing up. Lots of speeding tickets. Every time I watch that movie Liar Liar, and when Jim Carrey reaches over for the glove box and all those tickets come out, you know, like the parking tickets and speeding tickets. Yeah, that was me. That was me.
What about you, Mr. Short, Stringy?
You just took it right out of my mouth, brother. I would have said short, furry, man-child is my alter ego.
That's fair. All right, we got one more each, and we got to let Terrica go. We'll be here all night, Terrica, if you let us. So we got one more each, and then we're going to respect everybody's time and wrap it up.
All right, let me find a good one.
Pick a good one.
I already said that one.
Dead air is upon us.
Have you ever done something unbelievable only to have no one around to see it?
Have you ever done something
unbelievable only to have no one around to see it? That's fair. That's a nice question.
Like, you talking nobody around that you know personally?
No.
So,
or any, like, I think the question is asking, like I saved a child from drowning and there was nobody else there.
There's
and
no way for me to prove it.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Like the night that I worked at Top Golf and it was so dead that I went and played in the bays because like I just put some music on and went and played in the
proceeded
bays
to play golf
and was able to hit a golf ball in each one of the different targets.
That's crazy.
And nobody saw it happen.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that dog.
Oh.
Say hi to me. I do have an experience. I do have one. So you remember back in the day? Well, they're probably still around, but those water parks that had those huge slides and stuff. Mm-hmm. So up here in the Pacific Northwest, you know, during the winter months, obviously those are not open. Well, I had a friend who dated a girl who managed one of those, and they actually have an apartment, like a residence that they have on top of the office there, and she lived there. And we did a thing called ice blocking. So literally you go up earlier in the day in the winter months and you take buckets of water and you throw the buckets of water down the slide and it freezes at night. And then you buy a $2 block of ice from 7-Eleven and you take that to the top late at night and you ride down the block of ice while you're on a towel down the slide. I did it once. Okay. The first time I ever did that. No, it was not awesome until you get to the bottom and they tell you not to bail out of the ice block. Otherwise you fall in the frozen pool of water at the very end of the slide.
That's not good.
That was so not good. Yes.
I bet that was frustrating.
Right. Yeah. So this was like late 80s or mid 80s when that happened. And yeah, that was a wild ride to say the least.
So essentially what you're saying is your voice used to be much deeper prior to this incident happening is what I'm hearing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Every time I hear an ice machine, you know, who drops ice in the cup, I freak. I have flashbacks right there. I'm like,
Too funny.
We kind of used to do something similar when I was a lifeguard way back in the day. We used to tie the tubes together and it would you'd go way faster down the slide because there's not as much friction. And someone actually went up and out of the slide.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. It's a very similar situation. Not as fun. It was fun, and it's fun until something bad happens. It's
always how it is. Yeah.
It's fun until someone has a compound fracture of their leg and they get fired.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Terrica, any crazy stories on that front for you?
Absolutely not. No. No, I feel like I lead such a calm life compared to you guys now.
The only thing I can really think of off the top of my head is I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express once. Okay, so
that's dangerous in itself with the big old 6-inch window, 6-inch thick window through the.
That wasn't the only thing, 6 inches. Okay, so to wrap up the night in fun Halloween fashion, and I do need to say one more thing before we go.
Sure.
To wrap up the night in fun Halloween fashion, what horror fiction character scares you the most? What horror fiction character scares you the most? First thing that comes to mind. Here we go. Quick answer.
Boom. Grudge. Creepy.
Okay, there we go. Big Earn. Quick answer. First
Mike
one.
Myers. Halloween.
Good one. Terrica, how about you?
The dude from Saw.
Yeah, yes.
Jigsaw. Yes, Jigsaw.
Yeah, Jigsaw is crazy. No,
Yeah.
you guys are right. All right, thank you guys for playing that, and thank you Poddex for providing those questions for us to continue to have fun with our guests. Terrica, thank you so much for joining us. Big Earn, thank you for joining us. Just want to remind everybody, we've been talking about it for a while. The book summit is coming up this Thursday. Tickets are still available. We will post our link where you can get discount tickets. You can get them for like 2 more days, I think is all you can do. Don't forget, with those tickets, you also do get the replays of the all of the speakers are going to be on there. There's some solid speakers on there. So we love our friends over at the book summit, and we want to just give them some love on that.
That was Priyanka, by the way. Then when she was on there.
Oh, that was Priyanka that was on there.
Yeah.
Awesome. When I went to deal with the dogs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. Love it.
So.
Well, Priyanka, we love you, and we're looking forward to the book summit.
Yeah.
And if you haven't bought tickets, please get them, guys. You're not going to want to miss it. Ernie was a ticket winner of our giveaway.
That he was.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah, you killed it.
You don't even know that you were a ticket winner. We got to get you taken care of on that.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Terrica, I love you to death. We need to do this more often, so hopefully we can get you back on soon.
Appreciate you being on.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for dropping
Thank
a lot of knowledge and helping our viewers and listeners. So, all right, guys, we're going to
Of
sign
course.
off on the
No,
live
thank you.
portion. Big Earn, Terrica, if you could stick around for like 1 more minute, we're going to sign off the live portion now. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Thank you for joining in.